Welcome back to my channel. I'm Noelle and this is Noelle Roberts Studio, a place for all things Pilates and wellness to support your busy, healthy life. For today, we are talking all things posture. And while this may be something that your mom nagged you about growing up, it is so much more important than just how we aesthetically present ourselves to the world. And while that is important, it's really important to know the side effects of having improper or incorrect posture. Now, I don't know if you can relate to any of these, but backache, shoulder ache, neck ache, jaw tension, headaches, trouble with your digestion, slow and sluggish digestion, feeling like you can't take a full breath in, or feeling like you breathe really shallowly throughout the day. These are all very common side effects of poor posture. Posture can affect such a range of ailments. It affects so many different areas of our life that often go very unnoticed. And we often deal with these nagging issues in our body, not really connecting it to our posture and our form. But Joseph Pilates was actually obsessed with posture and obsessed with our spine. And if you think about posture, usually the part of your body that comes to your mind is your back or your spine, right? And our spine is this beautiful structure, and it's made out of bone, and yet it's flexible and pliable. And our spine can move in so many ranges of motion, much different than other bone in our body. So I want to ask you though, if you know how many different ways your spine is actually able to move. And the answer may surprise you, but there are actually 5 different ranges of motion for the spine that I'm going to cover right here. And the first being flexion. And what I mean by flexion is bending forward, right? Anytime you're doing a crunch or you're doing abdominal work, usually you're in a flexed position. So flexion is the first one. The second that usually comes right after that is extension, and that's backward bending. Anytime that you're doing like your cobras in yoga or your swan in Pilates, those are all extension where we're actually bending our spine backward. The other range of motion that we have is lateral flexion, and that means side bending, right? We can actually bend our spine side to side, which is a range of motion that not many of us cover throughout our day-to-day. The other way that our spine is meant to move is what's called axial elongation, and that's just a fancy way of saying lengthening, right? It can actually get taller or create space for our body. And then the final one that I'm going to cover is rotation, and that's pretty self-explanatory, but it's just that twisting motion that our spine can give us. All of these different ranges of motion help to support the demands that our body puts on our spine and the ranges of motion that we move through on a day-to-day basis. However, most of us are not giving our spine the love and attention it really needs by giving it all of that range of motion. What we often find is a scenario where we are almost always or chronically in a forward position or a forward flexed position. Rarely do we get extension where we're bending backwards. I mean, think about when's the last time you did a back bend, right? Probably been a little while. Unless you're a yogi, then you've probably done one today. But other than that, most of us don't bend backwards. We very rarely bend side to side, right? We don't often move in that range of motion. Now, while we do twist a bit throughout the day, often that's where there can be trouble, right? It's usually like when you twist and you grab a towel, or you twist and you grab something off the floor. That's where all of a sudden, ouch, you have like this sharp pain that shoots up your spine that you didn't have just a moment ago, and you're wondering what in the world just happened. And then we also have that elongation, and again, one of those things that throughout the day we don't think about standing up tall and expanding that spinal column. We are constantly being compressed just through gravity, right? Think about the time you wake up till the time you go to bed, you're being pulled slightly downward just by the force of gravity, let alone stress and anxiety and day-to-day tasks that you have to take on that actually really do take a toll on your body. Now, because we find ourselves in this forward position for most of our day, think about this, right? You drive to work, it's about a 30-minute drive. You get to work and you're sitting at a desk or a computer for the majority of those 8 hours. You leave work, you're back in the car, you're home only to sit down for dinner or to help with homework, and finally to unwind from your day. What do? We sit on the couch and we watch something on the television, right? And all of these things are keeping us in this very forward flexed position. And because of that, our spine gets a lot of neglect in all those other ranges of motion that it needs to move. And the reason it's so important to move our spine in all those ranges is not only does it help protect us from injury, like I said, when we rotate and we have that sharp stabbing pain in our back, it'll help protect from that, but it's also really important for those discs in between every little vertebra of our spine. Those discs don't get a lot of direct blood flow, right? And so the way that they actually rejuvenate or plump back up is through movement. We have to actually move our spine in order to get those discs really happy and balanced. What can often happen, and what I've seen with a lot of my clients, is they have a disc slip, or they'll have a herniated disc, or even a ruptured disc. And this is all because often we have movement that's just in one direction. So if you think about, your spinal column, and if you're in this forward flex position all day long, think about that disc, right? The spine is flexing forward, and that disc in between your spine is constantly being squished in one direction and pushed out in the opposite. Now, it's totally fine and normal for that to happen. That's how our spine was designed to move. But if that's what's only happening, if that's the only range of motion our spine is going into, what happens is a lot of times we get what's called that bulging disc, where it's bulging to one side of our spine and it's very compressed on the other portion of our spine. And this can lead to a whole bunch of ailments and complaints in the body, and eventually even medical intervention. Now, thankfully, there is something that you can do about it, and that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. And that's really the beauty of Pilates. Now, Joseph Pilates was obsessed with the spine. He basically said that if you are stiff and you can't move your spine at 30 years old, you are old. And if you are 60 years old, but you have flexibility of your spine and you're very mobile, you're actually really young. And he defined age by our spine and how it was able to move and how mobile it actually was. And it's actually really true, because if we're very stiff and we're very rigid, you're gonna actually start seeing a lot of deterioration in the rest of your life. Not just the quality of your life, but then that deterioration in your body. Your hips start to get tight, your shoulders ache, you have jaw pain, you have trouble breathing, you may get sick more often. There's so many side effects that go along with improper posture. So what he really focused on was that spinal column, and really the Pilates exercises orbit around the spine and orbit around all things posture. And that's why in Pilates you'll get so much of that feel-good movement for your spine. You'll get that forward flexion the right way, not compressing, but lengthening and flexing forward. You'll get that extension where you're reaching and arching your back. You'll also get that lateral flexion, that movement of side to side range of motion for your spine. You'll get the rotation or that twisting in your spine. And then you'll also get elongation. And this is why so many people, after even their very first session with Pilates, will literally get up off of the mat and they will say, "Oh my goodness, I feel taller." Is it possible to feel taller? I don't know if you've had that experience, but chances are if you've done Pilates, you probably have. And it's not that you've actually grown, it's that you've given those discs exactly what they need, all the ranges of motion that support and help create really healthy posture. And that's what ultimately gives you that beautiful stance, that aesthetically pleasing, correct posture. And you'll also feel taller. You'll feel more energized by it. You'll feel like you can actually breathe deeper into your lungs. Most of us actually breathe very shallowly throughout the day. We only breathe into like the top third portion of our lungs. We're never really breathing all the way to the base of our lungs. And posture directly affects our breathing. And our breathing actually directly affects our oxygenation in our blood and cleansing out our bloodstream. So it's kind of a domino effect if you think about it. Poor posture just dominoing into all of these negative issues in our body. And on the opposite side, good posture is actually a domino effect into all these amazing benefits for your body. So if you want to feel the effects of good posture in your own body, you want to feel taller, you want to feel more energized, you want to feel less likely to have that triggering pain in your back, or be able to literally bend down, grab something and come right back up without any negative repercussions. You want to get rid of the ache and the pain in your low spine. You want to feel just stable and strong and less stress. Then I highly encourage you to check out this little guide I put together for you all. Now this is a Pilates for posture guide. And what this is my top 5 Pilates exercises that I've broken down how to do them, how many reps, and what type of spinal range you're in when you're performing these exercises. Not only will it walk you through every exercise and give you the repetitions that you should be doing, but it's a simple little guide. It literally can be downloaded onto your phone or onto your iPad or your computer. It's something that's portable. You can take it with you anywhere and everywhere and have access to these 5 simple but super effective exercises that will literally move your spine in every single range of motion I've described here. So not only will you feel taller and stronger, more balanced, you'll be able to breathe better, but you'll start to see those beautiful benefits of Pilates in your everyday life and into your well-being, right? And that's really what this is all about. Pilates is a beautiful practice that supports our everyday. It's the difference between feeling strong and vibrant well into our 60s and our 70s, or feeling like we're slumped and stagnated in our 30s and our 40s. So I hope that you grab this copy. You can literally get this for free. There are no strings attached. I promise it's free. There's no like secret, put in your credit card and you're going to get charged in a couple days. Nothing like that. I just wanted to make this available to all of you as a great little tool to assist you and to guide you, especially if you're unfamiliar with where do I get started? What do I do to help improve my posture? This guide is perfect for you. Take it with you anywhere. Start implementing some of these exercises. They'll take maybe 10 to 15 minutes on a mat. And every day, the 10 minutes of just sitting there going through those 5 exercises will give you such a massive benefit in your life. I know you're going to see a huge difference. So I will put the link below of where you can grab that free guide. But I hope you download that. I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you start seeing those incredible benefits of what really great posture can do, not just for your body, but for your whole life, your well-being, and from this point into many, many years to come. So again, the link will be down below. Feel free to grab that, share it with a friend who may be going through some of the same struggles you are, or you know could just really benefit from all of that beautiful mobility of our spines. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Feel free to subscribe so you don't miss a single video that I have coming. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you're the first to know when a new video goes live. And be sure to give me a thumbs up on this video if you liked this video and you like the content, so that I can be sure to be making more for you all. Leave me a comment below as always with any questions or what you'd like to see in the future, and I will see you guys all back here on your mat very soon.